right. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Donna Zadie. I'm a co-owner and co-founder of the Philadelphia School of Massage and Bodywork. And today we're here to get to know our good friend, Theresa Tobin Macy. She's a fellow licensed massage therapist. And so thank you, Theresa, for joining us today.
Thanks for inviting me, Donna. Great to be with you again.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a long time. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a massage therapist turned yoga teacher. Then I became a yoga therapist, trying to blend as many natural healing modalities as I could. I'm a lifelong learner, so there's always something else to learn. I'm also an educator, so I've worked at a couple of different schools, Philadelphia School of Massage and Bodywork being one of them, and also a continuing education teacher and creator of programs for yoga therapists and yoga teachers. So let's see. I live full-time in an RV and run a location-independent business from our RV. From anywhere in the country.
Awesome.
So Larry and I like to get out into nature and travel around, and we found a way to do that and still incorporate all of my loves.
That's amazing. How long have you been a therapist?
I have been a therapist since 2004.
Wow.
I graduated from the Pennsylvania School of Muscle Therapy. And then I became a Frimmer deep muscle therapist right from that school as well.
So have you always?
It's
a good long time. Can you turn your volume down on your phone?
The volume's not on.
It's not on? No. Okay. I hear reverb. That's all.
We'll just put that off. There you go. How's that better?
So, what was I going to ask you? So, have you always been an entrepreneur right out of school?
I guess I was. I don't think I realized I was an entrepreneur, but while I was in school, my business partner and I became owners of a spa. So before I even graduated, I owned a spa. So I'm going to have to say, yes, I was an entrepreneur. I don't know that I would have called myself that back then, but now, yes,
Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So I had worked for a dentist for 25 years. So it was kind of a natural transition as a massage therapist, because I really understood the business of the service industry and medical practice. So it just felt like a nice transition. The business remained very much the same and the service changed.
So that's cool. So tell me about integrated natural health.
So integrated natural health is my baby. It's one of my passions. We have gone through a major transition. Actually, I guess everybody has, so that kind of is a given for that statement. Integrated Natural Health is a business that I created not long after I came out of school, that's had many different transitions and pivots to become what it is now. Right now, Integrated Natural Health is, my team and I have created many programs where we help both businesses and individuals create wellness programs. So how to run sustainable businesses, how to sustainably be well, how can you integrate a number of different types of uniquely balanced, like kick-ass personal and professional lifestyle. And we focus on things that feed the soul and invigorate the body and the mind. We try to stay very evidence-based in these comprehensive programs. And we're hoping to encourage people to understand that their someday is your now day, that this is the time to focus on business, on self, and manifesting and creating the life you love.
That sounds very exciting.
I was really lucky that when I was in this last pivoting transition, I was at something called the RV Entrepreneur. And it's a group of full-time RVers who all work location independent businesses. And so my marketing director, Jamie, and my IT director, Larry, and my storyteller and co-creator of programs, April, were all there. So we decided that it was time that maybe we would, and this always sounds weird to people, but we became passionate about making wellness the next pandemic. And when we really looked at it, pandemic doesn't really have anything to do with disease. It has to do with worldwide and moving quickly. So we became very passionate about spreading wellness at a time that we felt it was just perfectly placed.
I like that. Health as a pandemic, wellness as a pandemic.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, that's great. Interesting that people tend to think that that things can spread, but it's almost always not the things that we want to spread. So I really want to kind of get that message out there that we can be creative and design lives that we love. And if we place our energy, and I know that you're very energetic as well, if we begin to place our energy on manifesting the things that we really would love to see come to fruition versus fighting against things that we don't want, I think we'll be a bit more successful. So that's our mission right now.
I love it. So you are a huge fan of nature. So tell us why nature is such an important part of your business.
Maybe it's because I spent so many years in small dark rooms as a massage therapist and in the dental practice inside all the time. When I had the opportunity to take things outside and into nature, it was just so appealing. But there's so many lessons out in nature about balance and so many things that Mother Nature can teach us, you know, and I think 2020 is the year of understanding that when things are out of balance, something has to happen to put them back in, and it's usually nature. So I do love nature for its holistic balance and, you know, teaching us moderation in so many different ways. I like to practice outside, have the fresh air. Water is my favorite element, so I like looking at the balance of all of the elements as they relate to the human body. And also, I like to hike, I like to bike, I like to kayak. So if I put all my camera equipment with me and go off on a hike, it's inevitable that I'm going to find a waterfall or a nice, beautiful place on a lake where I can stop. And then being in nature becomes my job. So it's the best job ever, actually. I've noticed that sometimes I can tend to overwork. Maybe you can relate. And I can be in front of my computer for a really long time, sitting inside and finding that my creativity was not what I expected it to be. So I found that if you go out for a hike or a bike or a kayak or whatever it is that you like to do in nature, and you step away and take that break and really let nature speak to you, the creativity comes back, and there's a lot more space to create and to bring things forward. So yeah, nature's healing.
It's just really healing. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. I've seen a lot of pictures that you post of yourself doing yoga in nature, and it's just, even seeing it is so like, oh my God, it's energizing even just to look at it, you know?
I was in April, we were supposed to be traveling, but we were kind of sheltering in place in Lake Guntersville, Alabama, next to a beautiful lake. And I started to realize that many people, we were in the South, we had lots of space, lots of open, we were in this huge park with a big lake and lots of hiking. So it was easy to get out in nature and find some space to yourself. And when I started posting, a fair amount of people would say, you know, you're really helping me because I'm stuck inside. And I realized that just what you said, nature's really healing if you're in there, but it's also really healing if you just connect it to it through imagery or memory or creative visualization.
Yeah.
So when I was there, I tried to at least share something daily to bring a little nature to anybody who may not be outside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's well received. So, how has your business changed during this pandemic?
Wow. You know, it's such a great question because I have to say it's probably changed 5 times since the pandemic.
Understood.
Right. Because we had to keep recreating and seeing what was available, what we could do, how we could continue to move forward. So it took some time and some focused energy. And I began to look at the pandemic as creating a clean slate, right? Because the businesses and the way that I approached them in the past was no longer an option. Walking into a studio to teach a yoga class, seeing clients one-on-one, teaching continuing education, all of that was not sitting there in front of me. And because my team all have location independent virtual businesses, they're very skilled. The collective years of experience in location independent virtual businesses was enormous. So we decided that we would take it as a clean slate and say, we may or may not get back to what we did before. It may come back, it may not. So why don't we just assume that it will not and start to create things that we can offer that will help people to create wellness programs through collaboration and co-creating different things with for personal use for the end client so that we can teach people, but also co-create and collaborate with other businesses trying to bring wellness to the community. So we found ways of being creative, inspired. Our mission is to create sustainable, healthy, and compassionate communities. And if we created this clean slate rather than saying we're trying to go back to what it was, it opened up that space for creativity without having this preconceived notion of this is what this business has to look like, but what can we design it to look like that will best serve both individuals, but also massage therapists or yoga teachers, people who bring health and wellness. How can they bring those gifts forward if they're not in the same space with their clients in the same way they used to be?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's this time that we've had has been a blessing and a curse. A blessing to create things new. And so yeah, that's super creative of you.
As we go into social media, there were so many therapists that were saying, I really want to get back to the table. I want to go back and serve my clients. And I meditated with that and I sat with it for a while saying, people who serve. So because the circumstance has changed, how can we also change how we serve? And what can we still continue to do that honors our relationships with our past clients, but also finds new clients that need our help and that we can creatively make programs that can take you from dysfunction, you're a therapist, from dysfunction to function to prevention and ongoing support.
Very good.
So it's maybe we'll go back to the table. I mean, lots of people were able to do that this week, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well.
And some have not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know you were teaching continuing ed classes for therapists. and I know some are outside. Do you foresee yourself doing that in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. The classes that I want to teach will be in nature now. There's a few that are in the planning stages, but I envision a number of different things. Yes, they'll be outside, and I've found a couple of places where that will work well. Lake Guntersville is one of them. It's a huge lake with a beautiful learning center there. Neat hiking. It has an inside space, so if we're teaching massage, we have a place that we can set up some tables and work there. There's also a place in the Finger Lakes that I'm looking at. It has this beautiful barn, and the whole wall opens up onto a lake. So
Oh, wow.
I'm looking at, doing our lectures on the pontoon boat where we go out for our conversations out in nature, or, I would really love to blend yoga and massage trainings together so that people can invest their dollars wisely. As you know, many massage therapists have multiple modalities, and often it is yoga. So we're having our classes approved by multiple accrediting bodies so that when you're investing your dollars, you can maximize them. And I think that we can learn an awful lot when we put touch therapists and movement professionals into the same trainings.
Yeah. It sounds exciting. I love it. It's such a great idea.
Yeah. If you're a massage therapist or a yoga teacher, you're already very nature oriented, right? We already are looking for natural healing, the powers of touch, which is really a sad spot for me right now. I'm sure lots of other massage therapists feel as I do. We don't only touch people. We can't touch somebody without being touched. So I felt a real void in this. I'm not being touched, right? Because if I'm touching and working with somebody and there's this healing exchange of energy, it goes in both directions. So, bringing it out into nature, I've been teaching how to self-massage. So, either using a roller or your hands. There's so many creative ways that we can teach people to work with themselves as far as relieving some of their discomfort or softening some of those areas that we would touch on the table, as well as teaching family members and people who have been sheltering at home together how they could work with each other to, teaching basic Swedish massage. It's touch sometimes, not technique, right, Donna? It's not always the technique we're using. It's just the healing powers of being connected and touching. So teaching couples, parents to work with their children, it's been a great way for me to pivot our business and really feel like I was still serving.
Yeah.
And helping my clients.
That's cool. That's wonderful. So if somebody wanted to get in touch with you about different classes or anything, how could they?
So you can find me, integratednaturalhealth.com is my website. So that's going to lead you, of course, to all my social media, but also my Instagram and social media and Facebook account. I'm sorry, they're both Integrated Natural Health. And there's also a link on my website to my YouTube channel where I put out short videos for meditations and some yoga practices. That one's just starting, but we're putting a lot of focus on being able to share some visual content. Most of it's all out in nature, so continuing to bring nature into people's homes and into their space. Plus, that way my bike, hike, or kayak is now work. So, yeah. So I think I want to bring nature into people's homes and into their lives, and hopefully they will come out and join me there as well.
Yeah, we definitely need it.
We do, there's so many eternal learners out there, right? You are one. You're constantly in a state of learning, in a state of teaching. I am as well. As soon as I learn one thing, I move on to the next. So I have a couple of businesses, a couple of classes that I'm offering right now. They're all listed on both my website and my Facebook page. I teach 2 yoga classes. They're both gentle. So I teach a heart opening class, and I teach a body sensing class. So bringing people into those awarenesses. Since we're not there to do their assessment, I want to help people to do their own personal assessment. And also I'm taking a fair amount of breathwork trainings. So I'm teaching, just breathing to control your emotions.
Yeah, it's very emotional recently. Definitely.
A roller coaster, right? You never know what the day is going to bring.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I will
talk about energy.
What's up?
I know how energetically motivated and focused you are, being around you for as long as I have, and I started to recognize that whether we're fighting against something we don't want, right? Sometimes we're looking at making decisions based on something we don't want to have happen, but that still is sending a lot of energy to the thing that we don't want, right? The universe doesn't understand negative. So when we're thinking, oh, I really don't want this thing to happen, we're still feeding that energetic stream. So I started to really look at it differently and say, what are we creating, right? Can we take all of that energy and move it into, creating peace and thinking about peace, thinking about love, thinking about how we can create sustainably healthy communities. And it wouldn't surprise you to know that I use fascia as my model. Our body knows how to be well. That system is so creative, right? It's our communicator, and it's our connector, and it's the place where our healing receptors are. And if we could use our own personal body as our job description for how to create wellness communities, that's kind of my focus, is reshifting from this is the thing we don't want to have happen to how can we design the most ideal life possible and put our energy there. And I walked with you when you created, when you were in the process with Julia of creating the school, and both of your focuses were on how do we bring this healing art, right? It was passionate, and everything that you ever spoke with me about was always I'm in this creation process. And as a result, Philadelphia got another beautiful school to help move natural healing forward. So
yeah,
you're
right. It's all about creating and not fighting what we don't want. Yeah. Well said.
So if we have to pivot, many people want to go back to things that they understand, not necessarily always because they can say, I love everything about this. And I really want to get back to something I love everything about. So if we have to redesign natural healing, we might as well believe that we can create the business and the life that we love.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can put all our energy into believing that if you love it, do it. And if it's not, maybe it's time to let that thing go and redirect your energy to the thing that you really, really love. And we can pivot now.
We can.
We have a clean slate.
Yeah. If you love something, let it go. What's the rest of it?
And if you love it, let it go. It will certainly come back, or something like that, right?
Something like that. Yeah. I see that happening for the fundamental touch, anyway.
you and I know that as massage therapists, there's not another profession out there that touches people for an hour at a time. It's a really amazing gift that our clients give to us to invite us into their space and be able to walk that journey with them. And I think that in a world where right now touch is being discouraged for a number of scientific reasons, that maybe it's a call to action for the people who are the touch professionals to be able to redesign what that's going to look like. Because I don't think that there's anybody who is better qualified than people who have been sharing the gift of healing touch for as long as the therapist, whether you're a new therapist and you're just gaining that passion, or whether you're a seasoned professional who's been in the business as long as you and I have. It needs to be redesigned. We can't let it disappear. So I'm just looking at it as a call to action, that there's a lot of quality educators, a lot of quality therapists who have years and years and years of experience. And maybe this is just our time to redesign what that looks like and believe that with that collective wisdom, we can make it better than it was before. And it may have to go through some growing pains, but everything worthwhile usually does.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's well said. Yeah. We can only wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been working for years to be part of integrative medicine, and maybe this is the time that we're changing our focus, our education, and everything to take that step into that doorway.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see. I'm watching the schools. I'm watching what everybody's doing in their recreation, and it's looking. I'm really excited to see what's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Excellent. Well, I'm going to put your website information in our chat so people can get some information. And if you have any parting words, that'd be great. If not, we could wrap it up.
My parting words are the ones I always do when I pose. Om Shanti and Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Theresa.
So fabulous to see you. Thank you, Donna, for inviting me. It was great to hang out with you.
Definitely. We'll talk.
Thanks for all you who joined us to watch.
Thanks. Take care.
Talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.